Let's separate ourselves and become that dynasty that this organization is building.
We're trying to make this thing something that people will never forget.
Whenever we step on that field, you will know stagnation.
It's about continuing to build a legacy on and off the field.
We're going to give them an opportunity to work in there. They're going to help teach them while we're trying to teach them at the same time.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Hy-Vee Chiefs Insider. We're going to start the show with the way that the entire NFL has been since Monday night in that Bengals-Bills game, and that is prayers and thoughts for Damar Hamlin, the safety for the Buffalo Bills, for his continued recovery. But the NFL said it's play on. Week 18 will be played throughout the league, and that means the Chiefs have a critical showdown with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, we're going to get you ready for this version of Raider Week like no other show can. It's a show in the trenches because under the helmet we'll have Chris Jones, maybe having the best year of any interior lineman in the entire National Football League. Mic'd up, the other side of the ball, center Creed Humphrey. On Kingdom Conversations, Matt McMullen will join me and talk about the unique week that this has been. On a special feature, in one of the craziest stories really in NFL history, how does a Norwegian skier get to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? But first, let's revisit the Week 17 victory, the 15th consecutive victory by the Chiefs over the Denver Broncos in our Chiefs Game Day recap. Full throttle today, baby. It's the Chiefs and the Broncos. Chiefs trying to get a 15th consecutive victory over their rivals.
Happy New Year's, man. It's a blessing to be here with y'all, man. It's a blessing to take this opportunity with y'all, man. I'm grateful for that. But y'all know what lies ahead of us. Let's take care of business and finish the season strong, man.
Ball snap on the far hash, and the pass is knocked right back to Mahomes. But he's actually going to gain positive yardage and might pick up a first down. Start left, but Pacheco gets it behind right guard, pushes in near the one, now driving. Pacheco, touchdown! The offensive line. Make sure Pacheco gets the rushing touchdown.
Well, Happy New Year.
Pacheco stays in at running back. He flares into the flat. Mahomes will step up and launch it right sideline, coming back to the ball, catch at the 30, made, and now a missed tackle. Kadarius Toney down to the Bronco 22. Murray behind him. He fakes to him, and now Wilson's got nowhere to go. He gets crushed for a sack. Mahomes sends Gray in motion to his right shoulder. 3 eligible to the far side, right side of the field. McKinnon, the lone setback, hands on his knees. Snap to Mahomes, short roll, right, wide open, right side, McKinnon, right side, touchdown! Kansas City! Wilson, before they get the chain set, is hit from behind, and the ball's out! It's free, and covered up by Karlaftis! Pacheco, the lone setback. Mahomes will throw it over the middle, wide open. Blake Bell reaching out, rolling into the end zone. Are they going to give it to him? Touchdown! Kansas City! McKinnon is the running back now. He peels to the left flat. Mahomes looks there. Outside throws to McKinnon. Touchdown! Kansas City! Jerick McKinnon is a touchdown machine. The 2 running backs flanking Russell Wilson, who's in the shotgun. Far hash takes the snap at his number 3. Here comes pressure. Wilson, no chance. No chance at all. Colin Saunders. 4th down and 2 for the Broncos at their own 45-yard line. Okwuegbunam in motion to the right. Snap to the right forearm of Russell Wilson, and he's going to be hit. Chris Jones just took the game in his own hands. Kansas City's going to get this victory 27-24 over Denver, and the Chiefs get it done to go to 13-3 on the season. Coming up, we'll have Chris Jones, Pro Football Focus #1 rated interior lineman for much of the year, and a special feature on Pro Football Hall of Fame kicker Jan Stenerud. Chiefs Insider is brought to you by Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. And your Midwest Ford dealers, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Go, baby, let's go. Ah. All day, baby, all day, all day. Let's go, Pop. Turn my swag on, Pop. Turn my swag on.
Hey, let's have a day. Offense, defense, special teams, have a day. Feel that energy all day long, playing together, and let's go win a football game. Chiefs on 3, 1, 2, 3.
And we are ready and underway as Butker kicks it away.
Let's go, D. Let's go, D.
3rd and 5. Russell Wilson is in the shotgun. And Wilson under pressure now ducks right, throws it incomplete on the right side between the numbers and the hash.
Big stop by the D right there. Let's get it going.
Mahomes, he wants to throw it on 4th and short. Left side throws complete down to the Denver 33-yard line. Kelsey again dialed up. This time for 11, his second big catch on the drive. First down, goal to go for the Chiefs at the Bronco 5. Pacheco gets it behind right guard, pushes in. Pacheco, touchdown! Kansas City, the offensive line, led by Pro Bowlers Creed Humphrey, Joe Tooney, Orlando Brown Jr. Make sure Pacheco gets the rushing touchdown to end this first drive of the game.
Baby, what's talking about?
1st and 10, Broncos. Wilson with time, surveys the field, knockdown, pass knocked down by Carlos Dunlap.
Hey, look.
6-0 Kansas City. This drive will start for the Chiefs inside their own 10.
One hash. Right.
4-man front. They fake a handoff to McKinnon. Mahomes with time. Tony makes the catch at midfield and then rolls out of bounds. The Chiefs go right to him. A 27-yard over route to Kadarius Toney, and the Chiefs have first down at the Bronco 48. Mahomes takes the snap at his left knee, moves to his right, and down the field to McKinnon at the 30, angling inside 25, breaks off a hit at the 20, lowers the shoulder and hangs on to the ball down to the Bronco 18-yard line.
Oh, my bad.
Second down, goal to go for the Chiefs at the 6-yard line. Snap to Mahomes, short roll, right, wide open, right side, McKinnon on the angle, right side, touchdown! Kansas City, a brilliant catch and run and play call for Jerick McKinnon. He has now set a National Football League record.
Hell of a job, baby, hell of a job. Hell of a job. Go throw, baby, go throw.
Second half kickoff by Denver is way over the head of Isaiah Pacheco. So the Chiefs will start this drive at their own 25-yard line.
Right here, baby, right in. Come on. 1 point there, buddy.
Edmonds orbit motion to the left. They pump fake to him. They want to come back on a screen to the near side. The Chiefs are all over it. Great play by Frank Clark. Holds it to no gain.
Nice. Good boys.
Now Pacheco goes behind right guard. And he's behind Trey Smith in a first down. He needed 4. He picks up 5.5.
Hey. He's just trying to get up. He gets up fast.
They're going to bring a blitz. They go away from the blitz. Juju Smith-Schuster, 45 of the Broncos. And on the angle, out of bounds at the Bronco 39.
Finish his drive off the right way.
Pacheco, the lone setback. Mahomes will throw it over the middle, wide open. Blake Bell reaching out, rolling into the end zone. Touchdown! Kansas City! Blake Bell, first regular season touchdown of his 8-year career. Gonna fake the handoff, and Russell Wilson wants to throw. Corner out, intercepted at the 40 of Denver, coming to the near side to the 30.
Punch another one in right here. Open it.
Second down, goal to go at the 3 for Mahomes. McKinnon is the running back now. He peels to the left flat. Mahomes looks there. Outside throw to McKinnon. Touchdown! Kansas City!
Baby.
Chiefs 27, Broncos 24. 1:35 to go in the game. 4th down and 2 for the Broncos. Snap to the right forearm of Russell Wilson, and he's going to be hit. Chris Jones got him in a barrel. And 1:13 to go in the game. Chris Jones just took the game in his own hands. The Kansas City Chiefs taken to the mat by the Denver Broncos.
Hell of a game, boys. Hell of a game.
Kansas City's going to get this victory 27-24 over Denver.
This ski team always ran the stadium stunts. The kicker was down on the stadium kicking field goals. And I went down and joined them. And I hear this big booming voice, Jim Swinney. Hey, skier, get your butt down on the field here. I hear you can kick. High, end over end, through the goalpost 70 yards away. And he says, hey, kid, what are you doing tomorrow afternoon?
Some of the National Football League's best players made their careers in Kansas City, and while many of them followed a traditional path, such as legends like linebacker Derek Thomas or offensive lineman Will Shields, others saw their journey to greatness begin in the most unlikely of places, and there's no better example than Pro Football Hall of Fame place kicker Jan Stenerud. Stenerud grew up in Norway and was completely unaware of American football for much of his young life. In fact, his passion, much like many in Scandinavia, was skiing. Stenerud was good at it too, earning a ski jumping scholarship to Montana State University in the United States. It was a big deal, but even Stenerud couldn't have predicted where this particular jump would eventually land. Stenerud embraced the opportunity, and as it turned out, he wasn't just good at this new game, he was the best. The national media hailed Stenerud as the top kicker in the country following his successful first season for the Montana State football team. That year included a 59-yard field goal against rival Montana, a distance that was unheard of at the time. Stenerud was part of a revolution in the world of place kicking that embraced a technique similar to that of a European footballer. Back then, most place kickers struck the ball straight on with their toes. Instead, Stenerud and others, including Hungarian kicker Pete Gogolak, approached place kicking in the same way that they grew up playing soccer back home. That technique, and the results that it produced, caught the eye of the Kansas City Chiefs. Stenerud quickly became one of the best kickers in professional football. From 1967 to 1969, the average rate of success for professional field goal kickers was about 53%. Stenerud, by comparison, was connecting on 70% of his kicks. He managed to maintain that success on the biggest of stages too, successfully converting all 3 of his field goal attempts as part of the Chiefs' victory in Super Bowl IV over the heavily favored Minnesota Vikings. He went on to play 19 seasons as a professional, successfully guiding 373 field goal attempts through the uprights. His efforts earned him a place in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, making Stenerud one of only 3 place kickers to join that elite group of legends. Stenerud's legacy is also cemented in the Hall of Honor, providing fans with a reminder that while his jump into the sport may have begun in the unlikeliest of ways, few have ever soared like the skier-turned-football player, Jan Stenerud.
Chiefs Insider is brought to you by Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. And your Midwest Ford dealers, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Welcome back to the show. Chris Jones has had a phenomenal year, in many ways the best year of his career. Right now rated the top interior defensive lineman in the National Football League. It's not just sacks with Chris Jones. He can affect the game in so many ways. Let's go under the helmet with the one we call Stone Cold.
I mean, there has been no more consistent defensive player in the entire NFL or more consistently dominant defensive player in the entire NFL.
We had a lot of young guys to step up this year, but we put a lot on their plates, whether it's to start, whether it's to come in and replace someone that's been injured or hurt, and they answered tremendously in a lot of ways. Trent McDuffie on the defense. We got 2 to 3 cornerbacks that's starting for the first year, and the transition from college to coming in the NFL and play for a starting defense that has the capability of being a championship team.
Makes the snap a little to his right. In the pocket, pump faking it. He's going to be sacked. Sacked back at the 36-yard line. Chris Jones will get the sack.
I treat every game the same. Every game for me is important to what I want to do individually and my goals overall as a team. I think we can be the best D-line group, but it takes each individual during the 111, and it starts with me. It starts with me up front, and I try to make sure that I'm always dialed in to ensure the guys around me.
Okwebanam in motion to the right. Snap to the right forearm of Russell Wilson, and he's going to be hit. Chris Jones got him in a bear hug, and 1:13 to go in the game. Chris Jones just took the game in his own hands.
I think everyone's been dialed in throughout the season, especially on defense. It's about improvement every week and reaching your peak towards the end of the season going into the playoff. I think we've just been honing in on that as a team wholeheartedly. But most importantly, we got chemistry. You go in the locker room, it's definitely a locker room environment. Coach Reed honed on letting your personality show. This team right here is very special in how guys are able to bond amongst the level of football, whether it's in the locker room chat, whether it's outside the building, and we're definitely going to need that within the adversity we face along this journey.
It's a blessing to take this opportunity with y'all, man. Let's take care of business, 1-0, and finish the season strong, man. D-block on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I look back and I'm very grateful for what 2022 had to offer. I'm blessed in so many ways. I got a supportive cast around me. I'm being coached by some of the best coaches. I'm in a heck of a position right now, so I'm very grateful for what the lessons that 2022 brought me, and looking forward to 2023.
And welcome to this edition of Kingdom Conversations. Mitch Holtis with you, along with senior team reporter Matt McMullen. We're going to start this way because it has been a difficult week in the National Football League, and for sure for the Buffalo Bills with the situation with Damar Hamlin. But we want to start there. Our prayers and thoughts and prayers for hope and recovery for Damar and his whole family.
Yeah, you and I spend so much of our lives talking about football, right? And just waiting for football to occur, living, eating, breathing football. But on Monday Night Football, one of the biggest games of the year, in a moment we realized that none of that really matters, right? And all that matters is the health and the safety of Damar Hamlin. And every day we're just praying and hoping for the best for him. And we're going to continue to do that until he makes a full recovery.
So Matt, now the Chiefs have to kind of switch here a bit, still be empathetic and sympathetic, but get ready to play this Raider game. There is so much on the line, and you got to get ready to play a Raider team that looks completely different than they did just 2 weeks ago.
Throw the records out. I don't care if the Raiders are 6-10. This team looks totally different than what we saw earlier this season. And last week against San Francisco, nearly beat a team that could be the #1 seed in the NFC. At the core of that was Jarrett Stidham. Who saw this coming? His first career start, he comes out and throws for 365 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Chiefs have to be ready for this game.
9 plays of 20 yards or more against the 49ers, who many think is the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, and he has playmakers all over the place. Devontae Adams at wide receiver leads the NFL in touchdown grabs, while Josh Jacobs at running back, he leads the NFL in rushing yards. They don't care that we're going to the playoffs, and they're not. They're going to try to beat us. So for the Chiefs defense, it's a young group, right, that seem to get better and better every single week. They got to be ready for this challenge here on Saturday.
So where is the Raider defense? Okay, they've struggled when you look at them. They're the only team in the league. They're in the bottom 3 of both sacks and takeaways. They're just not taking away much. Only 13 takeaways. New Orleans is the only team that has less. But you get magnetized when you're looking at this team, and Max Crosby is doing everything for the Raider defense, and the Chiefs have to account for him.
He's the guy. This defense for the Raiders has struggled this season, and they have been very beat up. They're missing a lot of their players that they signed in the offseason or traded for. Max Crosby, you have to know where he is at all times, and generally, if you can do that, and it's a tall task, you can handle this Raiders defense.
The Raiders defense has given up more receiving yards to running backs this year, almost 900 yards, than any team in the league, and it's by far. You would think this is a week where the Chiefs could roll it up, throwing to the running backs.
I asked you this after the game last week against Denver, and when you first say it, it might seem a little bit ridiculous, but where does Jerick McKinnon's signing with the Chiefs rank all time in terms of free agent signings by Kansas City? He's been incredible this season. He has 8 receiving touchdowns this year. He leads the NFL in receiving touchdowns among all players since week 13. He has been absolutely invaluable to this team as a receiver out of the backfield and as a runner. But you're right, when you're facing this Raiders defense that is banged up at the 2nd and 3rd level, use Jerick McKinnon like you've been using him all year long, especially in the red zone. Some good things hopefully will happen.
So this Chiefs core of running backs getting passes could be big this week against the Raiders. Again, we speak for the entire Chiefs kingdom. Prayers up for Damar Hamlin, but the Chiefs are playing football this week, and they're playing the Raiders, and yep, it's Raiders week. Thanks for joining us on this week's show. The Chiefs playing the Raiders this week. And again, there's a lot on the line, not just for the Chiefs and Raiders, but for the entire AFC. The Chiefs could be a 1 seed. They could be a 2 seed. They could be a 3 seed. And we're like all of you, we're anxious to see how this is going to play out. But whatever happens next week, we'll get you ready right here on Hy-Vee Chiefs Insider.